just over the last couple of days, SOFI stock has went from one of the most disliked fintech stocks on the market today to one of the most well-liked with some of the best prospects going ahead. And this is because of the debt ceiling, or I should say a provision in the debt ceiling. And we're going to talk about that here in this video. I want to give you guys a look at my position for full transparency here and maybe make you guys feel a little bit better if you currently own SOFI, because I'm down a lot. We're going to look at some of the option activity, some of the recent price targets with SOFI, and how big this recent development could be for SOFI's business. Let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in and watching here today. So SOFI stock yesterday rallied 11.5%. Today you are up 12%. You have went up from the lows just a couple days ago at about $4.46 per share, about 52% in the course of just a couple of weeks since May 15th. So about 2 weeks now. That's a pretty impressive gain. Now, SOFI stock has actually done very well over the last couple of years. They've beaten on earnings almost every single time. They're to a place of break even currently. They're not yet actually making a net profit, but on an EBITDA basis, they are break even. So the underlying fundamentals so far, just over the past year or two, have been positive. And I think that really helps out this news that we're getting here on SOFI. So what's actually happening is the student loan moratorium is going to be lifted with this debt ceiling. Now, it was set to end regardless once the Supreme Court ruled on President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan, but this creates a definitive end date for this payment freeze. And SOFI currently has about $5 billion in student loans on their balance sheet, but the payment pause hasn't affected private student loans like these, just the federal ones. Now, the market for federal student loans is more than $1.6 trillion, and a lot of those could potentially be refinanced. And refinancing student loans specifically, SOFI is the top refinancer. If you Google, and we'll just go ahead and Google right now, student loan refinancing, SOFI is going to pop up as one of the top results. Look, they are literally the second result that pops up. So needless to say, out of $1.6 trillion, there's going to be quite a bit of refinancing of student loans that's going to be taking place after August. Now, SOFI in particular has done exceptionally well. SOFI's member base has risen 5x since this moratorium was put in place in 2020. In 3 years, SOFI has gained 5 times the members that they had prior. And what SOFI is really good at is cross-selling. So when somebody looks to refinance a student loan, in theory, a lot of the time they will look to buy a car, or they will open an investment account, or they will open a credit card or get a personal loan, or so many other different products that SOFI offers. So just one new member coming in to refinance a student loan can lead to sales, I should say, across different products. And that's what SOFI is really good at. And that is what is driving SOFI stock higher. Now, before 2020, SOFI's main business segment was student loan refinancing. Now that is all but dried up. That's really not a part of SOFI's business anymore. It is to a smaller extent, but it's not something that you really look for in their earnings reports. There's better things that SOFI is currently doing. So if student loans can start to pick up some of the slack that really hasn't been there over the last 3 years, that's going to bring in a lot of profits for SOFI. And really, this means that analysts are wrong when it comes down to it. You have seen recent price target decreases with SOFI stock. One notable that I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware about if you invest in SOFI is Wedbush. They came out and gave SOFI a $2.50 price target and initiated a sell rating on SOFI, the first sell rating that SOFI has received, and that just happened in April. So it looks like a lot of people are dead wrong on SOFI. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at the actual price targets here, the price target from the average analyst, $7.43 per share. That's going to be upside from here of a little bit less than $1. So you do still have some room to go with the average price target, but I think this debt ceiling deal, once it's done, once it passes the House, we're going to have a vote on that at 7 p.m. today. That's really going to solidify this, that analysts can go out and raise their price targets, and I think that is going to be another boost to SOFI stock, and I think that is going to be a positive thing. Overall, SOFI has 1 sell rating, 6 hold ratings, and 8 buy ratings. The return potential of 23.19%. But really, SOFI in the short term, yeah, it's bullish, really bullish. But SOFI in the long term as well is also very bullish. SOFI's price target over the next 12 months is as high as $10. And by 2030, some people estimate SOFI could be a $50 stock. And depending how the student loan moratorium plays out and how many people refinance, they're going to get to profitability a lot faster than anyone had previously thought. So maybe Anthony Noto, the CEO of SOFI, buying shares of SOFI almost on a day-by-day or week-by-week basis was actually a pretty smart move overall. Let's take a look at the option activity here on the day. You are seeing 15 orders on SOFI worth $3.29 million, positive order value of 73%. So out of $100 going into SOFI options, $73 are bullish positioning, either selling puts or buying calls, and $27 is going to be bearish positioning, buying puts or selling calls. And you can see some of the big orders that we're getting. June 16th, 750 strike, a call for almost $700,000. A lot of these are obviously calls, and a lot of interest around that January 17th, 2025 expiration as well. This kind of signals to me people think there could be some longer term upside with SOFI, and they want to get some longer term positioning as well. So you're seeing some pretty bullish moves from institutions and hedge funds with the option activity. Now, if you are someone that is looking to trade SOFI in the short term, which I'm sure there is a lot of you guys out there, let's give you guys a rundown of the short interest and what Ortex has to say. So Ortex is giving SOFI a short score of 73, which is pretty good. The dollar amount currently sold short in SOFI stock is $660, $660.15 million. Estimated short interest of free float at 13.72%. This has risen a lot over the last 3 months. If you pull up the 6-month chart as well, it's been pretty much going straight up since February of 2023. The short interest has almost doubled in SOFI since February. So there is a lot of shorts that are losing a lot of money at this moment in time. Free float out on loan sitting at about 30%. Shares out on loan, 238.95 million. Days to cover. This is also very bullish as well. 6.5 days to cover. Now, what this means is if shorts wanted to get out of their short positions, they obviously have to buy back stock. But it's based off of the volume. So as you can see, there is, let's go ahead and pull up the live short interest. There's 111 million shares that are currently sold short in SOFI stock. That means the average volume in SOFI divided by 6.5 is roughly like 4.5 or about 18 million, I want to say. Let's give you guys some more precise numbers than that, though. Divide that by 6.5. About 17 million shares typically trade hands with SOFI stock on a day-by-day basis. Basically telling you, you've seen low volume, and the higher the volume gets, the higher SOFI stock is also going to get. And it also shows you that it's hard for shorts to get out of their short positions the higher that number is. So it wouldn't surprise me if this number starts to go down, but it's already starting from a high place. Now, if you take a look at the cost to borrow fees, you got about 8% for the cost to borrow max, 1.33% for the cost to borrow average, and negative 0.25% for the cost to borrow minimum. I don't think the cost to borrow fees really matter all too much with SOFI. Shorts are getting squeezed out of the equity here, not from the cost to borrow rate. So there is that for you. If we want to go ahead and take a look at my position now, hopefully this just makes some of the long SOFI holders feel a little bit better. Here we go. 700 shares of SOFI. Average cost $12.43. Market value of $4,728. I am down about $4,000, down about 45.67%. Obviously feeling a little bit better about my positioning now that we know student loans are coming to an end, or the freeze is coming to an end. But still, this is a longer term trade. You got to have a longer term vision with this if you're really going for that 10, 20, 30x with SOFI. That is certainly in the cards here. So there's a lot of the core information. Let's go ahead and briefly take a look at the chart with SOFI stock. And this is probably the most bullish thing of all. SOFI stock could have a long way to go. The prior resistance points that we have seen is in between about $8.20 per share and $8.50. Even back here in February, after SOFI reported great earnings, which they typically do, SOFI stock hit that $8.24 mark and then started to fall. Well, we're far from that right now. You're almost $2 from that right now. So there is still some pretty substantial upside from the current levels with SOFI. And as more people start to talk about this company, as the fundamentals have drastically just shifted due to the debt ceiling deal, you could go higher than that. You could start to retest $15 per share. That's kind of my base case scenario over the next month or so, is really getting around $15 per share, especially once price targets start to get risen. And once SOFI does comment on this student loan moratorium being lifted. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at some of the indicators here for SOFI, the RSI, a little bit on the overbought side, not a huge deal. Granted, again, the fundamental increase to SOFI's business with this debt ceiling deal is huge, and SOFI was starting at a very low place. But again, it wouldn't surprise me if you do consolidate out for a day or two. MACD is still under under this neutral line. It's starting to break out above right now, so you got a lot of work to do to the upside. You got a lot of room to go before the MACD starts to look overstretched, guys. So it looks like, again, SOFI stock could rally up to that $15 level. Maybe if you want to be conservative, $10 per share would also be a very big level. $10 per share is where I've previously had my lines drawn. I don't edit these, so I'd like to come back and reference back to what I previously had set forth with the technicals. And SOFI is doing phenomenal. You're above your 50, 100, and 200-day moving averages by quite a bit. 200-day moving average at $5.60 per share, 100-day moving average at $5.90 per share, 50-day moving average at $5.59 per share. So congratulations for anyone that was buying SOFI down here in the $4 range. Absolutely insane that Wedbush really put the price target to $2.50, and that's what ultimately helped get SOFI down to these levels. And it looks like there's going to have to be some revisions in the world of analysts, guys. So let me know your position size in SOFI stock. Let me know what you guys are doing with your position. Are you looking at this for a short squeeze? Are you looking at this for the long haul? Do you think that SOFI has more room to go? Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you made it to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Again, enjoy your day, and I will see you in the next one.